test necessary in a Christian home? And as a traditionalist, is DNA test necessary or compulsory in a Christian home? Like we all know, during the time of our fathers, as long as the woman is under your roof as your wife, you don't have reasons to doubt the paternity of a child. And now we want to also hear from today's traditionalist and today's Christian. Like we have our pastor here today. We want to hear from you. So please, let's go with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Well, this is a very dicey and a very, very, very important topic, DNA testing. DNA testing has broken a lot of families across the globe, and is revealing a lot of secrets and a lot of trust issues. Like, before commenting on it, I have to think so seriously. This is a very serious topic you're asking me. So I'll have to talk and comment on this specifically from my own understanding of how everything is beginning to become as we see it today. You will see some family, 3 children, 4 children, but if the DNA testing of all those families and all the siblings are being carried out, even in Christian home, you will end up discovering that some of the children are not siblings, are not the children of the father. It's breaking so many homes. So I'm a Christian, born again, and I believe in the coming of the Lord Jesus till rapture. But you see, once I am married, I think the only way to really understand this is either I do physical. If I will not do physical DNA testing as a man and as a Christian that I am, then I have to be like a camera to watch over, not only camera, but in this, I have to be watchful. Once I am with my wife, I have to ensure that the child that she's carrying is my child. It's very important.
Okay, so sir, you sorry to cut you, but don't you think wanting a DNA test or requesting for one,
it's a distrust.
It's a distrust in a Christian home?
Yes, that is why I said that I might not come out as a Christian that I am. I will not come out or ask her to do DNA test
to her
ask or anything like that. And I might not really do the main DNA testing. But I think
you keep a watch.
I see. Yes.
Okay.
I see. I have to see.
Yeah. Well, Christianity aside, a man is to be vigilant, and I think there is a place in the Bible where God also emphasized. The Bible emphasized on a man being sensitive and vigilant. What to do, environmental awareness, situational awareness. It does not necessarily mean you're doubting your wife, but you just have to be vigilant according to Pastor Moses. So, as a traditionalist, do you think DNA testing is necessary in traditional homes?
All right, I will have to be straightforward. In our African tradition, we don't have this idea of belief. African tradition, they don't have the idea of belief. They strictly do what they say, I know. Are you getting it now? I know, which means if I see my son, I should know. I don't need to believe whether he is my son or not. So in African tradition, it is concocted that there is no belief system. There is no belief system. There is no kind of this is my child or this or any day. No. We know our own, and our own knows us. Doesn't mean that people that not cheat or wife cheating or these things. But we know our own. Are you getting it now? We don't deal with all this because in our cosmology, what is DNA? What does it mean? Are you getting it? DNA has no meaning in my traditional culture. It has no meaning. What has meaning in my traditional culture is So a father will give birth to a child, and you have this eye of synchronizing the child. There is something in me that child must have carried. That if he actually display one or two characters, I would now say, this is my son.
My son.
I don't need to go for DNA test.
Okay.
This is my daughter.
Well, I grew up in an environment where if a wife, cheats on her husband, traditionally,
Yes.
from the traditional angle, something will happen. Is either she falls sick or the husband she's cooking that's eating her food falls sick. Now she has to confess cheating on her husband, mentioning the number of times she has cheated, and as well, mention the name of the man whom she has cheated with.
No, you are digressing.
Now,
you are digressing.
please hold on. I'm coming from a different angle. Now, if a child happens to be in such situation, do you think the man should go ahead and do the testing or accept the child as his since he's rightly married to a woman?
Like I told you, in African tradition,
Okay.
as a traditionalist, we do not believe that is. I want you to understand that dimension I'm coming from.
Yes, I do.
Because going for a DNA test has prompted you to doubt, to disbelieve a particular thing, either your wife or a child, that it's not yours. You have that doubt that this child will not be my child. Understand? Like I told you, an African traditionalist knows what he knows his own.
Now, in a situation whereby, of course, there are you get to a family where all the children don't act or even do things alike to their fathers.
Yes.
Are you trying to say once a child does not align in character as the father, he automatically,
Now, in African tradition, someone might not have a child in his lineage, and he might want to have somebody that will carry on that lineage.
yes.
He might see a woman that has a child and decide to marry that child, and no paying the dowry of that woman automatically makes the child yours. That is what they call in my tradition a renew. That child is not from the bloodline of that man. You should know that. But traditionally, when that child will be converted into that family, traditionalists, kind of the ancestors, the living ancestors, will come together and they will do a
Citizenship or
membership of that boy, pronouncing a new name, a new bloodline to that child. At that moment in time, though that child is not a biological son of that family, but by doing that traditional rites, they have converted that child spiritually into that womb. In the scripture, in the Bible, they call it adoption. You have adopted them from somewhere into a particular place. You don't need to count their bloodline anymore. They are now your biological, a member of that family, automatically your child. So I didn't know DNA test to confirm that this is my child or not. I don't know if you understand me. There is no doubt. There is no disbelief. There is no that kind of thing in African tradition. Now, talking about cheating, a cheating partner is quite different from DNA test in my perspective now.
Because that's what brings eventually
Now, in the cheating partner, the treatment of such persons are quite different. Understand? In African tradition, once you are married to a man as a woman, you are custodian, you are commanded to remain loyal. And if you do anything apart from that being loyalty, whatever that comes from that, you're on your own. Understand? And as a man in African tradition, I cannot go and take any child from anywhere and say it is my child. There are processes. That is why I tell you that in African tradition, they don't do belief system. It is in the Christendom now, in Christianity, that you hear that word, belief. And that belief, that is where bound comes out from. Are you getting it now?
Yes.
I'm not saying I want you to understand where I'm going.
Opposite.
So that is in that, like, a man will begin to doubt his wife that this child does not make look like me. Let us go for DNA test. Now he's not putting his trust on a DNA test to prove a point. But in African tradition, no, we don't do that. The attitude that you display shows us who you are. And it comes from lineage. That is why in African tradition, once a child is giving birth in a particular family, they go for what they call consultation to know who has reincarnated the child.
And when there's nobody from the family,
when they now do the if the child is not reincarnated from anywhere from maternal and paternal, because this is the two conceptions that the name of a family, maternal home, and the indigenous, that as in the original, that is the family, man family, the maternal family, and the man's family. That is the family that make up the family in the Igbo tradition. Now, if in that cycle that there is no trace of blood,
that is still olden days of testing the paternity of the child.
That's what I'm telling you now. That is not belief. This is not I believe this. No, this is what they have already known. They are working by their know, not by their belief. That is why they have to go for it, because they already know the lineage. They have already known the lineage. Now, for us to authenticate our knowledge, we have to go for the Ibafa. Through that Ibafa, it will show them that look at the person that reincarnated this child. This is where this child is coming from. Understand?
Yes.
Doesn't mean that child will not have a similar character from the present parents. There must be something that uniquely joins them, connects them. So that is why in my African traditional religion does not actually move in that DNA. Yes. Because if they do on that DNA, there are a lot of women, widows, that family members has interrogated, by that is African tradition way. So you cannot say that child is not a member of that family because a brother helped a brother and they pregnant. Are you saying? So that is how the African tradition works. But in Christendom, in the Christian religion, it is quite different.
Yeah.
Understand? So the paternity test or determination of who a child is, it differs from religion, I can say.
And to buttress my own point as regards DNA and other things, like, if someone, like right now, there is so much beliefs, there is so much misconceptions as regards Christianity. In the real fact of Christianity, there are people that go, not everybody, let me put it in this short caption, not everybody that goes to church is a Christian.
Of course.
Not everybody
of course.
goes to church is a Christian.
Yeah.
But all those that are Christians go to church. So we have all kinds of people in the church, some in this ministry, that one in that ministry, but only those that have the Spirit of Christ in them are Christians. And when the Lord comes, he can only magnet them and pick them, because he will now separate the chaff from the. So if you are a Christian and you are married to a Christian lady, a Christian sister, the DNA issue ought not to have arisen.
Yes.
Do you understand me now? Any conversation as regards DNA ought to not have risen because you are married to a Christian. But in the place of that conviction that maybe you married a hypocrite, and not a Christian. She is a Christian in the outside, but she's a hypocrite in the inside. So that's where I brought that fact that you have to now be active. Yes, you have to be at watch. Your spirit needs to be man is a spirit. Man can see, can know, you can see, you can receive signals. So if you marry a hypocrite as a Christian, if you're a Christian, you marry to a hypocrite, then you might be giving birth to other children and other people's children.
I love the word.
I love the word.
That hypocrite who are Christians
on the outside.
Yes, and that is people that is bringing doubts. just bringing this belief and making marriage looks as if it's not worth it.
Yeah. This divorce.
There's divorce everywhere. So DNA test is good. It is. I can say it is good, but denominationally, let me use that word. Denominationally.
To those that subscribe to wonderful contribution, we appreciate your coming today. Thanks for being on this show.
Thank you.